And so we're back. Thanks for joining me yet again. Alright, Scott. Let's get you and your men up north. Join the rest of the gang. Don't want to miss out on all the zany hijinks. Okay, Zorum is finally going to get involved. He's kind of been taking a backseat over there, just sipping some shade in the lemonade. What did I just say? Sipping some shade and oh my goodness. Yeah, let's go with it. Can't take it back now. This is what happens when you record on minimal sleep. Oh, I forgot to note earlier the change in music for the enemy. This track, well, the track that was just playing a few seconds ago, was called Bozel. Interestingly enough, that name is a reference to an enemy from the first Langrisser, aka War Song. Interesting, right? That they would name something after him? Curious. But anyway, it's back on our turn. They're at 4, so Hein should be okay. I figured he wouldn't take much damage because they were so low. Thankfully, he didn't take any, so that's even better. Now, I may have mentioned this earlier. I don't know if I did. I think I did. But, again, I'm very tired. You'll have to bear with me. In Langrisser, they made him very powerful early on because his attack animation is much quicker. He attacks horizontally as opposed to vertically, and there's no charge at times, so he can wipe out most of the low-level infantry fairly instantly. At the most, he'll take 1 or 2 points of damage if any reach him, but he gets to attack first, similar to an archer. So that's just something to keep in mind. On one hand, it's nice that they made him more capable of a fighter. On the other hand, it does make the early fights much more simplistic and streamlined for him. I don't mind having to work for my food a little bit. All's fair. It's all the same to Elwin. He's at 28 attack right now. There's really nothing I can say about that. His defense is not way above the stratosphere at the moment. By the end of this, it will be. Now, there's a thing that you can do in this game to make 1 or 2 or even a few of your characters, if you're so inclined, possibly, just virtually invincible. Literally, I mean, impenetrable. We'll be discussing that in the not so distant future. It all involves a secret item that you can acquire. And things that these can do for you is basically go through multiple level ups, I guess is the best way to put it. You can force level up, basically. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Now's really not the time. So Liana's moving south now. We've decided to send her away from the action because now we know that it's safe. There will be no other enemies appearing from down below, so best thing to do is just get her out of the way. Not even so much that I'm worried about her safety at this point. It's mostly a matter of just getting her out of the way so that we can actually operate, you know? It's hard to attack the enemy when NPCs are occupying spaces that we need to sit in order to dig in, you know? They have armor and we need to chip it so we can win this. Can you dig it? Let's finish. Eventually, it's gonna take a few more turns. Yeah, because we're not even at turn 10 yet. Rare is the battle in a Langrisser game that you can finish in under 10 turns, while accumulating lots of experience. Better put that attack back up. And taking a moment to find the best places to position. You're out of range, but you know what? You have the troop advantage, and there you go. That's why it's so important to know what's strong against what. Because if you know your strengths and weaknesses, you're actually okay taking your troops out of the commander's range in certain situations. You just kind of have to be perspective of who can attack them the next turn and from what position, because again, I can't stress this enough, terrain is so crucial in this game. See, right now most of them are in the trees, so they're kind of on equal footing, but you know, trees versus mountains, mountains versus grass, grass versus water, water versus bridge, castle. Yeah, it's all significant. But you know, it's all relative, because there are other strategy games that you can compare this to where you're probably like, oh, well, this is a walk in the park. This doesn't require a lot of thinking. And then there are games you compare this to where, you know, they make this look like a video game equivalent of a Rubik's Cube in terms of difficulty. Something that I haven't messed with in years, so I don't remember if a Rubik's Cube is really as difficult as people make it out to be. I haven't had one of those in so long, I really can't recall. I'm really thinking of Shining Force when I say this. Again, I love the Shining Force games, but they're just pre-K easy compared to this. You know, but I've heard that Langrisser 3 is one of the more difficult entries in the series because it does some things a little bit differently. And it's funny because I think I was mentioning in one of my Dragon Force 2 videos that it would be interesting if they had a strategy RPG where the enemy all attacked at the same time. Oh no, it wasn't Dragon Force. It was actually during my Let's Play Langrisser, I'm pretty sure. I noted that it'd be interesting if you had one of these types of games where everybody made their moves at the same time in a phase. Like the player was moving while the enemy was moving, to make it a little bit more realistic. In that sense, we're not just taking turns, all politely waiting for everybody to have their round and then we go alternating. I didn't know how they would pull it off, but I thought that'd be a very interesting idea. And from what I've read, Langrisser 3 actually does something to that effect. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it in action. And Zorum is trying to butcher us. How delightful. And he actually managed to take out one of them, so perhaps he means what he says. He says what he means. That's the kind of person you want to be. Don't make your talk too cheap. You know, put some work into it. Back it up. Act. But anyway, yeah. And with that, let me talk a little bit more briefly about my plans for this series that I've become quite invested in at this point. So I've been doing a little reading up on stuff, investigating. It seems that there is a way for me to play Langrisser 4 in English. So if all goes well, if other life commitments will not rope too much of my time away from this channel, because I definitely see that being a possibility, but I'd like to keep things going here full steam. If I can still commit to doing Let's Plays and whatnot, I would like to eventually do a Let's Play of Langrisser 4. It'll have to be the PlayStation version because that's the only version that was in English. As much as I like to play the Saturn versions of these games, I'll make an exception for that one. But I'm going to keep things chronological. So I would like to play Langrisser 3 first, which sadly has not been translated into English as far as I can tell, but I was able to find a couple of translation guides and I'm still looking over them, but it appears, what's this? Oh, look at Elwin, talking big and bad. Let me show you my strength. If you're hungry, let me offer you a taste of my blade. And down goes fighter number 273. How could I lose? Quite naturally, actually. But yes, I'm going to take a look at these translation guides, and if they're enough to get me by, I will play Langrisser 3. Now, there may be exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, when I play a game in its original native Japanese language, I'm not going to Let's Play it just for the sake of viewers from other territories, Japan specifically, who might be watching the game. I don't want the English dialogue to be too much of a distraction for them or an annoyance. so I'm going to leave those no commentary, much as I'm doing for the dramatic edition currently. So Langrisser 3 will be no commentary, but after that we'll go into Langrisser 4, all things willing, with commentary, and then we'll finish it out with Langrisser 5, the end of Legend. Again, Japanese only from what I can tell, so no commentary. You see how it goes. And after that, I think I'll have done just about everything I'd like to do with Langrisser. Again, I am thinking about doing a playthrough of Der Langrisser. I might save that for last, actually. Just to show off the alternative paths. But first I'm going to do some research. I'm going to look around YouTube to see if anyone's posted any video playthroughs up showing the other paths you can take, the Imperial, Chaos, and Independent. If they haven't been shown in depth, start to finish, I will do that one at a time, because I'm just that devoted to this series at this point. It's in my blood. Yeah. So that's it for that. Back to the battle. Ooh, ouch. Ooey, ooey, ooey. Why are you taking so much damage? At least they're standing next to Hein. They will recover a little bit. Okay. Not too many left though. Saving Zorum for last, I think. Seems to be the best way to do this. Typically you want to save the highest ranking officer for last, but there will be some battles where it's to your advantage to take them out as soon as possible, provided the conditions require you to beat all the enemies, which is the case here. So we could take Zorum out now, but I've got a feeling that it'd be best to not do so, for reasons I'm not quite comfortable confessing. But Leon, for example, if you're ever in a fight with him where defeating him won't automatically end the battle, get rid of him pronto, ASAP, immediately, on the double, chop chop, come on, hut hut, tut tut, because he typically has Elwin level stats, but higher in the early stages. So you want to remove him from the equation. He has a nasty tendency to spotlight opponents he can one-shot, and he will go right for them, full speed. No remorse, no regrets, no apologies. Which, you know, is something that we wouldn't be against doing, so who can fault him? I would call it good tactics, in fact. Oh, but I've been jabbing too much lately. Let me just take a back seat and let you guys enjoy this fine-tunage a little bit more. Yes, tunage is a word. Don't look it up, though. Waiting for the beautiful day when there will be no more war. But until then, soldiers, soldier on, oh soldiers, just soldier on. Be-dee-dee-dee. Fighters going down, he's currently sitting on 3. Oh, what a wicked way to take it down with torches. Oh my boy. Oh my soul. Oh, did we go too far? Not in the Legion. Yeah. Nothing like a little early morning ad lib and a level up along the way. Nice way to start the day. And Leon's well out of harm's way. Okay, 23, he's got decent attack. Nothing remarkable though. just enough to pay attention to him, really. Now it's back to us. Come on, guys. Let's make it happen. The battle won't win itself on its own. So stand tall, firm, show what we're made of. Another thing I've noticed about Langrisser, it's much easier to keep your mercenaries alive in that game. More so than any of the Langrisser I've played currently. I mean, I can actually go through battles without losing anybody if I plan it accordingly, and I'm very careful with them. Which is a nice change of pace, but again, it's different. I'm not used to it. But again, they've probably made some difficulty adjustments due to the fact that in that game again, you're rewarded at the end of a battle based on how many of your troops survived. In addition to how well you used them, I believe. So you can't just sit them around at the edge of the map where there's nobody fighting and expect to reap the rewards. The game is paying attention to that. But if you actually use them, they enter combat and they make it out at the end, then eventually you will start to see some bonuses added. And that is a nice feature. I do enjoy that. That's one of the best additions they made, I think. At the sacrifice of some difficulty in certain situations. In this game, you get nothing if they live. NPCs, sure, you want to keep them alive, but sure, man, they will go. And nothing's going to come out of it if they stick around, so I do try to, of course, keep them alive as much as I can, but if anything should happen to them, you know, I'm not really sweating it. Not at all. One less thing to have to think about, so. Come on, our plate's already full, isn't it? We can only juggle so much. Alright, time to heal him up. Let's not get too reckless. And they might be able to do this. Oh, not at all. Okay, the guards aren't doing so well lately. Maybe those torches and those trees are a bad combination. Maybe they're burning down their cover. I don't know what it is. But Elwin's okay. Power wave. Oh man. You know, it's gotta be one of the greatest tragedies in gaming. How did this game? I mean, because you guys, I know we're still early into it, but you can see how high quality this is, right? In every facet, the production values are superb. The gameplay, everything is on point, right? How did a game this high quality not get localized outside of Japan? How did this not come to the West in some form or fashion? Under some name, under some guise. Can anybody explain this to me? Does it not seem like a great travesty has been committed against all of us? And against the developers who worked so hard on this game, who deserve to have maximum exposure. Is it just me? Don't you think we kind of missed out on something good here? And what this could have been for Sega? Oh my goodness. And it would have been a great companion to Shining Force 2 for some early strategy RPG games in the 16-bit era. Oh man, I tell you, somebody done dropped the ball. Somebody done looped up big time. Big style. Hey, it's too bad. Talk about gems deferred. Oh, what could have been. Oh well. No sense lamenting over what's been. I'm just saying though, it would have been something. But we get to enjoy it now. And that's what we're doing. And again, let me stress, guys, this isn't about my own personal promotion or profit in any way. I am really about promoting this series. I think it's really wonderful. And I want to see it get a little bit more attention, a little bit more love, a little bit more acclaim. So anytime I'm like, hey, you know, thanks for supporting, you know, thanks for your comments, your thoughts, your likes and all that, your subscriptions. It's not even for me so much. Well, I guess the subscriptions will be to an extent, but particularly the likes. When I ask for those, I'm really doing it for the sake of the series itself, because I really want to pin these videos to where they appear a little bit more prominently so that more folks get exposed. You know, I'm not somebody who's trying to turn this into, you know, an occupation basically. I have other things that are that for me, but I really do enjoy this, and I enjoy sharing this with you guys. And I like hearing from you guys because, you know, I learn a lot from you all, and it's just fun to communicate and share thoughts with you. And Zorum just went down hard. But yeah, come on guys, play Langrisser. Share Langrisser. Spread the Langrisser. Spread the levels. Oh, here's another good track. This is called Fight It Out. Very, very good track. I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit so you can really let it soak in and sink in. Very dramatic. Now this track, appropriately enough, is called Vargas, named after the general himself, who has horsemen. And one of my favorite tracks, this is called One Side, which accompanies the Mystery Knights. Phalanxes. Very powerful unit there. Great against horsemen, as you can probably gather. So now that the cavalry has arrived, Vargas might want to reassess his strategy. Oh, and they're going right for him. And he's getting out of dodge. I would have wanted the experience though. I guess we didn't really need it. Would have been biting off more than we could chew most likely. And the night is off just that fast. Alright, it's time to move on to Estol. And we got our first level 10. Class change. We can make him a lord, a knight, or a shaman. Lots of choices here. I'm going to scroll up and down a little bit so you can see the differences. I'm going to be back when I've made my decision. Okay, we've made him a knight. Hein, also wonderful. He can level up to a shaman, sorcerer, or lord. It's going to take me a minute to decide. I'll do an edit. Just let you look at the differences real quick once again. And shaman it is. Kind of wanted to make Elwin a shaman, but as long as somebody gets thunder spelled, because that's going to be very helpful. But that's it for the battle, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. For Langrisser's sake, have a wonderful day, and hopefully I'll see you soon.